They sick of this unapologetically Angel podcast. Now the numbers from the podcast shows that fans are sick of it. Once again, I can't make this up. I'm showing y'all right now. She might need to get Castanet to come on to say this.
Angel Reese had it all: fame, influence, a devoted fan base, and the backing of a major media empire. But in the blink of an eye, that empire started to crumble. All because of one podcast episode and 4 little words: shut the F up. What followed was a public meltdown so rapid, so complete, that even her biggest supporters were left stunned, confused, and frankly, done.
Angel Reese's latest podcast decision has left her listeners disappointed, primarily due to her choice of guest. Yeah, I think a lot of people were like, who cares about these people? Honestly.
This isn't just about a bad episode or a rough patch. This is the story of how one of women's basketball's brightest stars risked her entire brand on a misguided pivot, how she alienated her base, lost nearly all her momentum, and became a case study in how not to handle fame. And if you think this is just some harmless internet drama, think again, because the fallout was brutal, and it's still going.
From hosting fellow athletes like Dejanay Carrington, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and basketball legend Lisa Leslie, to musicians like Sexy Red, Glorilla, and more, the Sky Forward received positive feedback from listeners and viewers. However, the most recent episode received mixed reviews.
Before the collapse, Angel Reese wasn't just a player, she was a movement. After leading LSU to a national championship and becoming the face of unapologetic confidence in women's sports, her name was everywhere. Media outlets couldn't get enough. Brands lined up. She was dubbed the Bayou Barbie, rocking lashes and buckets with equal finesse. And fans? They were all in. They loved her for being bold, unfiltered, and real.
Reese's podcast featured reality stars Jada Cheeves and Des Doria? I don't know. I don't even care. Who discussed their experiences on season 1 of BET's The Impact Atlanta, as well as their candid views on online criticism, dating, and careers.
So, when she launched Unapologetically Angel, a podcast backed by Shaquille O'Neal's big podcast network, it felt like the next natural step. A way to speak her truth, connect with fans, and expand her voice beyond the court. The early episodes showed promise. The production quality was top tier, the guests were big names in the WNBA, and the conversations felt fresh and authentic. Angel was making the leap from athlete to media star, and people were watching. But fame's a tricky thing. The higher you rise, the steeper the fall. And what started as a dream project soon veered into unfamiliar territory her audience never asked for.
Their quote issue regarding relationships. As for Reese, she mentioned men's insecurities when it comes to women earning a higher income than their partners. Is that still a thing? That still bothers people? Okay. Quote, a lot of men don't also like women. My God, the grammar. What the bleep? A lot of men don't also like women that got their own. My God, folks. You read quotes from her, your IQ points just melt away.
At first, it was subtle. A few off-topic moments here and there, light touches of lifestyle chatter sprinkled between basketball insights. No big deal. Athletes are people too, and fans often enjoy getting to know them off the court. But then things took a hard left. The show's content stopped feeling like a peek behind the curtain and started sounding more like a reality show audition.
Following the interview, fans expressed their dismay over the responses they gave about money and relationships, feeling it overshadowed other important topics. Quote, they said a lot of nothing. The responses are dumb.
Gone were the athlete interviews, game recaps, and raw locker room stories. In their place, entire episodes focused on dating wealthy men, luxury lifestyles, and influencer culture. The episode that broke the internet, featuring Instagram personalities Jada Cheeves and Des Dior, barely mentioned basketball. Instead, it played like a glamorized conversation lifted straight from love and hip-hop. Angel's core audience, hoop fans, young athletes, people who had watched her grind, were left confused, annoyed, and frankly, disappointed.
Another person added, quote, "This is like the one podcast where 3 kids judge food they haven't eaten, laugh out loud." The same goes for a commenter who said, "Losing brain cells listening to this podcast." I just said IQ points were literally melting away from my brain pan as we speak.
This wasn't what they signed up for. They came for the woman who outworked everyone on the court, not someone diving headfirst into the shallow end of celebrity culture. The shift felt so drastic, so disconnected, that many fans thought they'd clicked the wrong podcast. The word bait and switch started popping up in comment sections. And while some tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, assuming it was a one-off experiment, the numbers told a different story.
Angel, all these women out here doing phenomenal things, but you choose rappers' girlfriends to interview just really throws me. That's a hell of a good comment.
For a podcast backed by a high-profile network, with a host as prominent as Angel Reese, the bar was high, but not unreachable. Early episodes had respectable viewership, solid engagement, and strong replay value. But after the content shift, things fell off a cliff. We're talking episodes struggling to break 70 views. One episode with celebrity guests barely hit 66 views. Not 66,000, 66. It was the kind of drop-off you don't just notice, you panic over.
We have to pull up her podcast, man, because y'all might think I'm lying. I am not lying. This is not clickbait at all, guys. So as we pull up the Unapologetically Angel podcast, I mean, hell, she just released the episode 10 minutes ago. It got 66 views. This one right here got 781 views.
That kind of crash doesn't happen by accident. It happens when trust is broken. The same people who had clicked every episode without hesitation were now ignoring new releases altogether. The analytics were unforgiving. Engagement tanked, average watch times plummeted, subscribers dipped, and worst of all, fans started talking. Loudly. Not just in YouTube comments, but across X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. Anywhere her name was mentioned, disappointment followed.
People ain't feeling them, bruh. I mean, damn. I mean, Angel Reese haven't got over 5,000 views in over a week, dog.
Even more shocking? This wasn't a one-time slump. It became a trend. Week after week, the numbers stayed low. And with every new upload, fans became more convinced that Angel didn't understand, or worse, didn't care, what they actually wanted. That realization, it hurt. And it hit her brand like a freight train.
And it seemed like everything went downhill after this interview, bruh. I can't even lie. But it's looking like it's been going downhill since before this damn interview. I can't even lie to you. It's looking like Kennedy Carter might be, DJ Ned Carrington might be her biggest view.
If there was still hope for a bounce back, Angel snuffed it out with one tweet. Frustrated by the backlash and low viewership, she lashed out at her critics. Instead of addressing fan concerns, instead of opening a dialogue or acknowledging the pivot, she posted one now infamous line. "This is my podcast. Shut the F up. You don't watch, thank you."
If you're going in terms of breaking it up, but damn, dog, it ain't looking good for Angel, bruh. Now, I just wanted to show y'all the numbers to show y'all I wasn't clickbaiting or picking on Angel.
It was short, sharp, and catastrophic. What could have been a moment for reflection became a full-blown PR nightmare. The fans she was once so closely connected to, the same people who rode with her through the NCAA storm, who reposted every clip and defended her against critics, felt like they were being told to sit down and stay silent. That tweet didn't just hurt feelings, it ruptured trust. And once that trust was gone, there was no soft landing.
She's had a lot of like rappers and these what I call D-list celebrities, which is the reality TV show. That's a D-list celebrity. They're not an actual celebrity, really and truly. It's not like they won American Idol, right?
From that point on, her comment sections transformed into digital battlegrounds. One user put it best: "We are the shareholders of your content. If you can't take the heat, get off the mic." That wasn't trolling. That was heartbreak. These were people who genuinely wanted her to win, who now felt like they didn't matter.
A social media user left a harsh comment, wrote the least informative podcast on earth. Yikes.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was on a different trajectory entirely. She hadn't even launched a podcast, and yet she was consistently pulling millions of views just by staying focused on what made her a star: basketball. She was visible, professional, and connected, dropping highlight reels, giving thoughtful interviews, showing leadership. Fans watched her rise and couldn't help but make comparisons. While Angel seemed more interested in influencer clout and celebrity conversations, Caitlin was quietly stacking W's on and off the court.
Penn said she took the X and pretty much let the fans know how she was feeling. Let's pull up the tweet right now. This is the tweet right here. Angel Reese stated, "This is my podcast. Shut the F up. You don't watch. Thank you."
The contrast was brutal. One had embraced discipline, the other distraction. Clark's every move seemed to reinforce her brand as the next face of women's basketball. Meanwhile, Angel's every upload felt like she was drifting further from her roots. And for fans who once saw both women as the future of the sport, that gap felt bigger than ever.
Check out the comments. This one stated, "I mean, you scrapped the baby." This one too. So fans is definitely still bringing up that the baby interview, which that one never came out. She received harsh criticism from her fan base for that specific interview as well.
The real damage wasn't just view counts, it was reputation. Angel's brand was built on authenticity, relatability, and rawness. But suddenly, none of that felt real anymore. People started questioning whether the Bayou Barbie persona was just a marketing gimmick. The podcast had high-end production, big-name guests, and Shaq's backing. Yet somehow it was collapsing in real time. That said more than any statistic ever could.
You know, can she get good guests on her podcast? That's another thing. I mean, a lot of these WNBA players have come on there, but I mean, you got to wonder how many of them are actually really in demand, right?
Sponsors started to go quiet. Former fans unsubscribed. Comments poured in like, "This feels like a betrayal," and "What happened to the girl we supported from day one?" You could feel the shift in energy. She hadn't just lost views, she lost the emotional equity that made her special. And in the world of personal branding, that's the one currency you can't afford to burn. It wasn't just the wrong guests, it wasn't just the wrong tone. It was the feeling that Angel no longer cared what her audience wanted, or worse, thought she didn't need them anymore.
I don't understand. What is the value of bringing rappers' girlfriends on to have a conversation with them? I mean, that one person's right. Why would you not want to platform people that has something meaningful to talk about? This person said, why not platform other successful women that's actually done some things? Not a bad question.
This saga is bigger than just Angel Reese. It's a masterclass in how not to pivot your brand. Every creator, athlete or not, should be paying attention. In today's digital world, people don't follow you because you're famous. They follow you because they feel like they know you. When that connection gets broken, no amount of money, clout, or production value can fix it. Authenticity can't be faked. And when fans feel disrespected, they don't just stop watching, they start leaving.
On YouTube, go subscribe at your own damn peril at this point. I mean, that's saying something when, look, you got to go seek out her podcast on an app, then subscribe to it, decide you want to listen to it, and then you've made it this far, and you're like, nah, I'm tapping out of this horse shit. It's terrible.
What's wild is how avoidable this was. A simple acknowledgement of the feedback. A quick pivot back to her roots. Even just a thoughtful message to fans saying, "We're experimenting, thanks for sticking with me," would have gone a long way. But instead, Angel lit the match and watched it burn. That one tweet did more damage than an entire season of bad content. It wasn't about the numbers, it was about the silence that followed. That cold, awkward quiet after a meltdown when no one's tuning in anymore. Because no one feels connected anymore.
Is the shtick for Angel Reese, is it starting to wear thin? Is the faucet of Angel Reese's celebrity starting to slowly slow down? Question mark? You got to wonder.
For all her natural charisma, athletic dominance, and media savvy, Angel forgot the most important rule of being a public figure. Never lose sight of the people who got you there. She had everything: Shaq's media arm, a championship pedigree, nationwide recognition, and brand deals. But the podcast bombed because she misunderstood her audience. They didn't want glitzy IG influencers or shallow dating convos. They wanted real. They wanted hoops. They wanted her. And when she couldn't or wouldn't give them that, they bounced. Behind the scenes, whispers grew louder. People started asking if Angel was more interested in red carpets than rebounds, if the passion for the game had been replaced by a hunger for viral moments. And the worst part? It's hard to argue against it when the numbers, the content, and the audience reactions all point in the same direction. So where does this leave Angel Reese? She's still young, still wildly talented, and still has a chance to rewrite the narrative. But she has to do one thing first: listen. Listen to the people who supported her from day one. Listen to the critics who aren't trying to cancel her, but trying to remind her who she is. Listen to the silence in those view counts, because it says everything. The fall wasn't sudden. It was a slow erosion of trust. But rebuilds are possible. It starts with humility, with reconnecting, with remembering that every like, view, and comment comes from someone who once believed in you. Lose them, and it's over. Win them back, and the story gets a brand new ending. But that's the question now. Will Angel write that ending? Or will this just be another cautionary tale in the influencer age of sports?